Who is God?
Who is God?
The first one is God. Who is God? Is
God is spirit, which takes us out of the limitations of man. Man is a matter, but God is not a matter, which makes man unqualified and incapable of defining God. Because God is spirit and man is not qualified and as is not matured enough. The maturity of God, of man, the intellect of man, has not taken him to the fourth dimension. In physics, we only have three dimensions, first and second dimension. That's where men operate. But for us to locate God, we have to go to beyond the third dimension. We've got to go to the fourth dimension, where is spirit realm. Now, the fact that the man cannot put spirit into the laboratory and confine spirit, that doesn't mean that spirit is non-existent. It is just like saying right now that an ant, if I find an ant or an insect, and an insect is seeing me approaching it, and that insect or ant is trying to determine from its own parameter and from its own dimension how to define me as a human. An ant cannot define a human. It doesn't have the parameter. It's not on the same level. It's just like saying I cannot be using the same parameter that I use to define or to identify product, physical product, that I will use the same parameter to identify and to define bacteria. Because bacteria are too small. I mean, they are too little for physical. They are not optical. Optical eyes cannot determine them. So, and because man is so limited to his senses, to his five senses, and to the things he can see either through physical eyes or through other optical instruments, we are so limited. We are too limited to even begin to know what is happening in the spirit realm. So a man that is only reliant on his five senses and on physical and material reality to determine existence and to pass a mark and assessment to all reality, he has failed before he began. That is why I agree with you that when somebody is a pure atheist, it is easier to defeat him in the argument or debate than agnostics. Because an agnostic is trying to come out of being cornered. Because, for example, if an atheist will say, everything came out from the theory of the Big Bang, it will mean that atheist or anybody who believes in the theory of evolution and Big Bang has contradicted the very basis of physics through which the Big Bang theory itself was discovered. It is physics that gave us the ability to discover the Big Bang theory. And that same physics tells us that everything comes to regression and entropy. Everything comes to is disjointed, and everything comes to destruction, natural destruction. Everything disintegrates. Everything comes from order to disorder. That is physics. That is how life moves. Everything will eventually come to disorder from order. So, but things don't come automatically without external forces and external influence from disorder to order. If you go to your room right now and your room is unpacked and scattered, things are scattered, and you come back in the evening and everything is, the bed is made up, the clothes are ironed, everything is hanged, it means there is an external influence. So when it comes to man, for man to function, element the eyes, why is our eyes not on the top of our head? There is a logic behind it. There's somebody logical that have put that together. Why is it that our mouth is not under our soul, the sole of our feet? It's because there is an intelligence right there. Why is it our nose is not at the back of our spine? There is an intelligent design, and not just for man, but for every creature. So since we cannot say, just like you cannot come to your room that is disorderly, nothing, this is science. Nothing comes to, order from disorder. Rather, if you will leave everything in the perfect order and you leave it without any external force and external control, it will eventually come to disorder. Because, that is the natural sense of things. That is why entropy is a reality. Things get bad. Things get destroyed. So what is that external force? That external force is the force of God. And that is why that external force that is going to maintain and maintain creation and even create has to be more intelligent than the thing is creating. It's just like this iPad right now that I have. This iPad, somebody that created this iPad has to be more intelligent than the iPad itself. Because that person has to be able to think of the iPad, be able to gather it together, form it. So just the same thing like an artist. An artist who draws a picture has to first of all conceive that picture. So that artist has to belong to another dimension, to another level of reality than the picture that you have just painted. Just like the same, and the dimension of the metal and iPad is this first dimension, second dimension. But the man that created it has to be in the higher dimension, which is a third dimension. So this iPad or this book that I've written or this tissue paper that is here cannot begin to discern me right now. So what is even the concept of life? If we have life, it means that the person who gave us life has something more than life, something superior to life. That's why he is able to create life. If anybody is able, if man exists, and we know that it has to be a higher intelligence that creates man, it means that the person that made man to be man has to come from a higher dimension to be able to assemble man. Just like somebody who created this has to be higher to be able to assemble it. Somebody that wrote this book has to know something to be able to pack it together. You have to belong to a new dimension. That is the question of who is God. God is spirit. And God, because God is spirit, he cannot be dragged to the laboratory. And he cannot be accessed by an ant of a man. Because he doesn't even belong to the same category and the same dimension as him. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Now, we need to spread this word and we need to do it together. For that to happen, we need your help. Just 5 little steps that you could help us to spread the word. Number one thing we need you to do is to like the videos. Please go like this video right now. Number 2, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Number 3, we need you to press and click on that notification bell. You see the bell? Go press on it. And number 4, we need you to go comment. Write your comment, good or bad. Just write what you feel. Number 5, share on every platform. Share on Instagram, share on Facebook. Just share and spread the word. Thank you so much.